channel for your stimulus package and stimulus check update. And if you don't care, hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate it. Now let's dig into some news, and I mean it's really great news. I'll go over a couple things first, and at the end I will tell you the awesome news. And trust me, it's good. But first of all, just a few details here. As we know, Democrat Nancy Pelosi believes that a bill can still be pushed through by the end of September. Now, she says I'm optimistic. Now, I do think that we should have an agreement. That's what we all want. And speaking to reporters about the day her Democratic Party passed the HEROES Act bill in the House, Pelosi said, the needs have only grown since May the 15th, 4 months ago. Now, referring to the day Democrats passed their own spiraling $3.4 trillion package, the needs for the small businesses, for the restaurants, for transportation, and the rest, she was also quick to knock back a question about moderate Democrats pressing for a narrow relief package, saying to reporters, "They don't say it to me." Now, we're going to get into what Joe Biden. This is if Joe Biden takes the presidential seat. This is what he is offering the American families and the American people if he gets office. Now, Joe Biden, Democratic presidential candidate, he stated on his website, he says, his new plan to allow families with children to receive a monthly federal payment of between $250 to $300 during the pandemic. Now, Biden's CTC expansion will provide thousands of dollars of tax relief for middle-class households. Biden's website announced it will also help the most hard-pressed working families avoid poverty and attain greater economic security. The Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said that he believes there is a good chance Congress will pass a COVID-19 relief bill. Now, if the Senate passes the bill at the end of September, the House will have until October the 1st to agree on it, and President Donald Trump will sign it as early as October the 2nd. According to the United States Secretary of Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin, the IRS will be in position to start sending the second round of payments on the week of October the 12th. But now, as we all know, Republicans and Democrats previously agreed in principle on $1,200 second stimulus checks for individuals and $2,400 for married and joint filers. Now, regarding the second payment, Trump admitted he was keen on a larger amount. I like the larger amount. I've said that. Some of the Republicans disagree, but I think I can convince them to go along with that because I like the larger number. I want to see people get money. Something like that, we're getting closer. Now, speaking to Fox News, Mark Meadows, the chief of staff, he encouraged the media to take their cameras to the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on Thursday. You're going to see members of Congress leaving Washington, D.C. to go home and pretend like they're working hard on this particular deal, when in fact the checks are not going out to the American people and unemployment benefits will start to cease. He went on to further explain that he had been on the phone with some Democrat House members, as well as a few senators, and a positive note that he can see that there are Republican senators and House members that are trying to come together. Although there still is no guarantee that there will be a stimulus deal, both parties appear interested in striking a deal. Now, many Congress members will spend the month of October campaigning for re-election, meaning a deal may not be finalized before November. Now, that said, if a deal is to get done, the end of September or early October would likely be the last chance before the election of November the 3rd. With congressional elections on November the 3rd, both chambers have very few days left to finish work as lawmakers plan to campaign in their home states for much of October. Now, the federal fiscal court year ends on September the 30th, so they will have to hurry to reach a deal on legislation funding government programs and averting a partial shutdown. Now, that would be especially damaging to lawmakers facing re-election in November. Now, Senator Mike Braun said, "I think that my personal opinion, not much is going to happen between now and the election." Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said recently that once Congress gives the green light for the second round of stimulus payments, the IRS will be ready to start sending checks within a week of approval. Now, that means that the relief bill would have to be passed by the third week of October. Now, in order for a new round of stimulus checks to commence before the elections, as it stands, that scenario seems to remote with neither the return of the Senate or the House managing to break the deadlock in negotiations despite various attempts at compromise for both parties. Now, U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi said last week Democrats were open to the idea of postponing the start of the October recess. Now, to get a deal with Republicans on a new coronavirus aid bill as a $1.5 trillion proposal unveiled by moderates was attacked by conservatives and liberals. The current session is due end on October 9th of October, when lawmakers will return to their home states to campaign in the run-up to the election on November the 3rd. That gives the House just 19 days to push a new relief bill through. If both chambers agree to delay their planned recess, a vote could go through the Senate on September the 30th. Now, be passed by the House the following day and signed off by the President on October the 2nd, although that is the earliest possible scenario. Now, if no vote happens this month, another potential dates based on congressional voting schedules include 9 through 12 October, 16th through 19th October, and the 23rd to 26th through October. We are committed to staying here until we have an agreement, Pelosi, a Democrat, said in a CNBC interview, adding that there were disagreements with Republicans on how to crush the virus. That has now claimed the lives of almost 200,000 people in the United States. Now, if this package goes through, this is just some of the highlights and details, as I went over before, that's in this bill. And the package provides a fresh round of stimulus checks up to $1,200 plus 500 additional credits for dependents of all ages. Dependents over the age of 16 who were left out of the direct payments distributed as part of March's $2.2 trillion CARES Act would also receive the $500 credit in that bill retroactively. I'm sorry, my throat's got the tingle in it. I can never pronounce that word right, guys. Sorry. Anyways, what's more, the March to Common Ground's possible $400 billion extra spend, described as a program of boosters, includes a third batch of checks in March if the pandemic is not significantly under control by early next year. Among the other measures in the Problem Solvers plan is an unemployment benefit boost starting at $450 per week before rising up to $600 without exceeding 100% of a claimant's previous wage. After 8 weeks, this initiative would run until the end of January 2021. Basically, they're just not going to pay you more than you earn. Now, you know, this was the problem the first time. They was paying, a lot of people got way more than they was earning, so they're just not going to, they're not going to do that. And there's a lot of good things in this bill. For instance, the rent assistance. That's amazing. You know, I mean, the landlords and stuff get taken care of, but the rent assistance for the people that don't have before you would have to back up and pay all those months behind. Like if you couldn't pay your rent, say if you was about 6 months behind and you couldn't pay it, you would have had to come up with all that money in to pay it. This assistance takes care of that. You don't have to do that now. You don't have to pay that. So that's a very good thing. But one more thing, guys. Yeah, before the good news. Still, again, people's asking, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad, Retirement, SSDI, Veterans, all those programs. If you got the check the first time, you'll still get it this time the same very way you got it the last time. But, you know, nothing's passed yet, nothing's signed into law yet, but you still, yes, you are eligible. You will get the check as soon as they pass it into law. But the good news, guys, now, from earlier this morning, the news was, okay, the airline industry is about to go bankrupt. I mean, they're getting ready to lay off thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. And there's a lot of other businesses that's tied to the airlines, okay. Now, the airlines, they put this $25 billion bill in this package, okay. Now, that's pushing them to get this signed and signed into law. Now, what I'm meaning is, come the 29th, they're going to have to get this passed through the Senate on the 30th, pass it through the House, and then on the October the 1st or 2nd, no, October the 1st, I'm sorry, President Trump will sign it into law. Because come October the 1st, if this is not done, the airlines will be shut completely down. Completely down. No planes in the skies, guys. No, absolutely. You won't be flying. So, this is another very, very good thing that is going to make this bill pass. So, you know, be glad for that, because this is going to help everybody. This is going to help everybody get the money they need, get the aid they need, and get the food, get everything you need, possibly you need. This is some great news, guys. I was just going over some details at first, but this is the great news. And if you want to go watch other YouTube channels, that's fine, but they're going to tell you the same thing about the airline. They've got to the end of the month to get this done, and got to October the 1st to pass it into law. So to me, yes, that's great news. Absolutely great news. So guys, that's all for now. If anything else comes up, I'll let you know. Until next time, peace out.